Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. I really do appreciate the support, the likes, the comments, the new subscribers on the channel at the moment. And if you are new around here, my name is Ethan. I am an online coach. I'm a competitive natural bodybuilder. I've been training for years. I've done a good few shows. Unfortunately, I've had some good success with both myself and clients over the years. So today is push day. I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to show you what I do in the gym to train my chest, my shoulders, my triceps. But more importantly, I am going to share with you some of the things that I wish I knew when I did my first ever contest prep, and some of the mistakes that I made, the lessons I learned, and things that I think will genuinely make your process a lot more successful, a lot more enjoyable, and hopefully make you a better bodybuilder in the long run. So right now, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to get ready. We're going to head to the gym, and I'll see you there. Right, we are now in the gym getting ready for push. So I'm not going to speak too much through this part of the video, through the training session. I'll show you kind of exercise by exercise, but I'll keep chatting to a minimum so you can just see the training and then you can get into the actual topic of the video. So I am starting out with a lateral raise. The Atlantis pad lateral is actually a really nice machine. It's just a little bit shallow in the stretch. So I'd like to be able to get a little bit more on there, but equally not enough that I want to kind of get blocks or try and build it up at all. So it feels good enough. It could be a little bit better, but it's a nice option for this. So I actually do 3 sets here. So yeah, do these and then we'll move on to the first press of the session. On to exercise number 2, which will be the flat Smith press. So this has been 3 sets for me for a while, but the problem is at the moment, it's more so like connective tissue that is not recovering as opposed to actual kind of muscle. So I'd like to do 3 today, but I'm going to see, because I've been getting quite a bit of pain with like, I don't know if it's maybe like tendonitis or something going into, right into here. Anyone that knows their shit, please let me know. I did get some work done on it, but it's one of those where I honestly think it's probably rest and maybe exercise selection. So I'm going to play around with a few bits, but I'm going to keep this in for now. It feels really good other than that, which is annoying. So yeah, we'll warm up, take 2 sets. Hopefully it should be all good in terms of strength. Nothing should really change there, which it hasn't with this. It just feels a bit more sore, but it's one of those where I'm like, I'll just take the risk right now. So yeah, we'll warm up, play it at a time until we get to the working set. So thinking about 2021, I actually got some new wrist straps the other day. So it's the first time I'm going to use them, but the other ones I remember I got either towards the end or at the end of the 2021 prep. So I've basically had them for 5 years. So I guess that's a good shout out to Tough Wraps. But I've gone with Gym Reapers here. So all black. See how they are. They feel nice. They feel strong. But yeah, does anyone use this? I always just flick it off and tuck it in. Oh, okay. All right, so the rep that I actually didn't get last week, I got this week. So that was just over 3 plates for 6, which it is something I will take. And then now I'm going to go 275, so 215, see what we get. I'm probably going to leave it there, to be honest with you. I'd rather leave it at 2 good sets today than try and take a third. Oh, strong as fuck. To the next press of the session, which will be a shoulder press. So I had a little look through my sheets this morning because I've been really kind of stalling with the Skullcore shoulder press, which is like the flex replica style shoulder press. And it's good, but it's so heavy. And I've said this so many times, but anyway, I was looking through my sheets. I've basically been running that now for like about 8 to 9 months, I think. And the progress has been all right on it, but it's really got stale now. So I've wanted to swap it. The gym just got this Body Masters in. So I'm going to be doing that, which will be cool. It feels very good. Haven't obviously put too much weight on it just yet, but I will. And we'll see how it feels. But with just a couple pins down the stack, it feels fucking great. So this is going to be a far nicer option, I imagine, to be able to get some progress over the next couple months. Warm-up's done on here. It feels really, really nice, but the only problem is the stack isn't that heavy. I think the gym pin's going to fit in here. If not, then we've got a problem, but fingers crossed it should fit. The gym pin fits, but it doesn't look great. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's kind of like half in, half out. So it's not ideal, but it's a really nice machine. It's just not very heavy, which is a bit frustrating because you don't want to pin something the first time you use it, but I've pinned 10, probably take 2 straight sets of double figures, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully the gym pin stays in. It should do, but yeah, I don't know why it doesn't fit very well. Bit frustrating. So like I said, this is relatively light, but when it comes to something that's light, you can just make it feel a little bit harder. So just pause in the stretch, pause in the lengthened, because I want to use it. So I'm going to try to make it as hard as I possibly can. Incline cable fly. So I've been doing this for a couple of sessions now. I was doing a flat cable fly, but again, with this kind of little heck issue, the incline feels a little bit nicer. And on that shoulder press then, I felt 0 pain at all, which is perfect. So yeah, 2 to 3 sets on here, depending on how this feels.
So I do one warm up and then straight in, because you don't need a load of warm ups, but it's still nice to do at least one, in my opinion, because I have the time to. So yeah, warm up, let's go. I actually had some guy, I can't remember what it was on, I think it might have been YouTube, making a sarcastic comment about using straps, but I actually do. So yeah, for your dumbbell laterals, use straps. You'll be more locked in, less thinking about grip. You might actually be able to hold your hands a little bit better as well as a result of it, and get more out of your actual side delt. So yeah, don't always be quick to judge, because it might actually be better. Right, I'm going to finish up the final 2 sets of triceps. So 6 sets of triceps total, 3 on the cable, 3 on here. Then I'm going to drive home, and I'll catch you for the main topic of this video, which is things I would do differently in my first prep if I knew what I know now. So yeah, catch you there.
So here we are, the part you've all been waiting for. What would I do differently, or what did I learn in my first ever contest prep? So if you aren't aware, I did my first ever contest season in 2021. I did a good few shows, and I actually came away with a win at a British level, which was fantastic. But there was definitely things that I could have done slightly better, and things that I definitely look back at now in hindsight and think, why didn't I do that differently? So the first thing that I think I would look to change would actually be before the prep started. And this is the timeline that I created. So I gave myself a good amount of time for the entire contest prep. I believe it was between 20 and 30 weeks. But what I didn't account for was weeks to slow down. I accounted for my rate of loss to essentially be consistent throughout the entire contest prep, which meant that I didn't really leave myself much opportunity for diet breaks, for refeeds, or weeks where my body weight just didn't change the way that I thought it would. Which means that essentially I had weeks where I was staying the same and weeks where I had to then push harder. which is fine. We can push harder. And as I said, ultimately I got the physique on stage that I wanted, but at the same time, was it the smartest way to do so? Maybe not. So if I was looking back at that prep, I probably would have pushed a little bit harder earlier on, allowed the rate of loss to be considerably higher at the start, and allow it to taper off. Because for me, it was more a case of a slightly slower rate of loss, a spike in the rate of loss, and then it kind of like leveled off, because I essentially gave myself that time, but with X amount of weight to lose every week, and I didn't give myself any room for error. So this is something that I think is really important, is understanding it's not just going to be smooth sailing, and you may need more time than you think, and you probably need to give yourself a couple of weeks where things maybe stall and stay the same. Now, this is one that people probably will roll their eyes at a little bit, and in today's bodybuilding, for sure, people say we're too soft, we worry about these things too much, and they're not needed, but ultimately they are. And it can be the difference between your physique looking fantastic on stage and your physique just looking meh. So for me, that is fatigue management. Throughout the first ever contest prep, I didn't really consider fatigue. I didn't really consider managing that fatigue. I don't believe I ever ran any deloads or the volume weeks. I don't really think I pulled back on expenditure. And ultimately, I just became more and more fatigued, which is fine. And to a certain degree, this is going to happen within a contest prep, but you can manage things and you can be smart. And for me, one of the biggest things that, in my opinion, went wrong and resulted in the prep being more difficult than it needs to be was my sleep deteriorated really, really quickly and got to a point where it was really, really bad. And I think this is something that I see a lot with competitors that do push relatively hard consistently without any room to pull back. Going back to point one, giving yourself more time, is their sleep starts to suffer. And when your sleep starts to suffer, you look worse, your energy is worse, your training suffers, and ultimately the entire prep becomes a lot more difficult than it needs to be without any extra benefits. You know, you end up not looking any better. If anything, you look worse, and you're working a lot harder for less results ultimately. So managing your fatigue, in my opinion, is something that is super, super smart. And by doing so, you'll have a much smoother contest prep and a much more enjoyable contest prep as well. This brings us on to the final point, which is training, and more importantly, the quality of your training. Now, for me in my 2021 prep, I was super focused on training hard, and I was super focused on the quality of my work in the gym staying high. However, what I considered good quality work is where I went wrong. I focused far more on keeping hold of weights that I had done when I was 50 pounds heavier, more than the quality of the work overall. Now, what I mean by this is not getting weak and not allowing yourself to drop off load where you don't need to. But something that I did in my most recent prep was I allowed myself to actually reduce the loads where I needed, to allow the quality of execution to stay 10 out of 10, to allow my reps to stay within a safe and also positive range, as opposed to sticking with loads and allowing reps to come down, but justifying it with the fact that sticking with the same weight is going to keep all the muscle that I had, when in reality, it probably meant that I lost more muscle than I kept, because the quality of the work wasn't there. The stimulus that I was giving my muscle wasn't quite enough. And by actually reducing the load and focusing on a more positive and progressive stimulus, I probably would have been able to have a much fresher, bigger look on stage. So those are my 3 points for you to consider. And if you do those, you'll probably have a far more successful contest prep, with everything else that you also need to be doing, of course. Now, I have actually created a free video guide on if you are ready or not to consider a contest prep. And that is free to anybody and everybody that does want it. So if you would like it, I will leave a link down below. Click that link and I'll send you over the video, and you can see if you're ready for your first ever contest prep. But right now, I'll end the video. I'll leave it here. Thank you for watching. Anybody that enjoys the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you're considering your first ever contest prep.